I'm Ted Short, Vice President of Rails to Trails of Wayne County. I've served on the board for over 15 years, and most of the time I've been Vice President. My role is to do a lot of contact with people who own trail properties that we want to acquire in future times, future years. The main thing I want people to know is the trail activity is not very much about pouring asphalt as much as it's about making connections with people, connectivity with villages. I think oftentimes the Mayor of Rittman, how much he has contributed to making Rittman a trail town, making it a better place. So we're in the business of really community development.
Well, I'm Phil Grimm. I've been on the Rails to Trails of Wayne County board for 9 years. I came on the board with the responsibility as the Sippo Trail coordinator, but my two main priorities on the board are completing the Ohio to Erie Trail from Cleveland to Cincinnati, and securing public funding for the trails. And I'm an advocate for trails for a lot of reasons, but trails are a place that anyone can go out and be active throughout the year. And this trail in particular is currently part of the Ohio to Erie Trail. Eventually we'll go through Orville with the Heartland Trail, but for now the Sippo Trail is how people get from Cleveland to Cincinnati. So it's an important part of a bigger picture. I want to be active, I want to be out there, and my encouragement to all of you is to be out and active on the trails.
I'm Katie Van Zyl, and I'm the secretary of the board for Rails to Trails of Wayne County. My husband and I and our 5 kids really enjoy biking the trails. When I came on the board, I had no prior experience. I've never served on a board before, and I was blissfully unaware of how much energy and passion goes into building these trails. This amazing group of people wholeheartedly believe in every project that they do. So I serve on the board in order to preserve the history of these trails in the making, and I also serve on the board for the future of Wayne County and what it's going to look like when all of these trails are completed and connected, and how our communities fit into the bigger picture that we're a part of. And it's really very exciting.
Yes, I'm Keith Winkler from Sterling, and I've been on the Rails to Trails committee for a little over 5 years. I enjoy being on the committee. It's a way to help the community and to give back as well. The Rails to Trails committee that I'm basically connected with here is the one that runs from Rittman to Creston, and I like helping with the maintenance, with the mowing, various parts of the trail that needs maintenance, whether it be the trees needing trimmed. It's overall a healthy environment. It's good for people. Myself, I'm basically a runner or a competitive walker, and the trail also has served both in Rittman and Creston for various 5K and 10K races, which is very good for the community.
My name is Tom Ball. I've been on the Rails to Trails board for 10 years. I have my horse Glory. We ride on the trails, we ride on the parks and forest trails. I think the experience is great, where it's slow and you can enjoy the scenery. And times we see many wild animals, deer and turkey. And I find it very relaxing. I just felt the need for somebody to represent the equine interest. The horse industry has an economic impact of $2.2 billion in Ohio, with approximately 300,000 horses in Ohio. Well, I'm hoping to see the current Heartland Trail completed and any other future trails, potential trails, be completed.
Hi, my name is Susan Baker, and I live in Creston, Ohio. The reason that I became interested in the Rails to Trails was when I found out that they were going to build this county line trail and rehabilitate this old railway bed. I thought, what a great place to spend time with our grandchildren and our pets, and even our mini horse, which we've taken on the trails many times with his little wagon. I became a board member when a friend of mine who is also an attorney asked me if I would share my expertise in board membership with the board. It has been a wonderful experience. I've really come to appreciate the time and effort and financial commitment that it takes to build a trail like this. I was astounded at all of the work that goes on in the background with obtaining easements, making good relationships with the neighbors whose properties we border or actually pass through. And then the actual engineering of it is quite phenomenal when you think of how you have to take an old railroad bed and make it into something that even a buggy cart can go on. The financial commitment, now I understand why you can only do a few miles every year. We really appreciate what our volunteers and our members do as far as their financial contributions and all of the volunteer time it takes to maintain these trails, even down to the people that plow them in the winter and mow along the sides of the trail. It's an amazing group of people and an amazing addition to our community, and I'm proud to be part of it.
Hi, my name is Pat Glessner, and I'm a board member of Rails to Trails of Wayne County. I joined the board in 2010 after attending a meeting at the Sterling Elementary School with my husband Dick. We wanted to find out more about the trails and find out what this whole trail thing was about. We attended the meeting and we got excited about what was coming into our own backyard in Sterling. And a year later, I found myself on the board as a rep for the Sterling, Creston, and Rittman areas. I'm talking to you today on the County Line Trail at the Creston Trailhead, and we're standing not too far from where I grew up, where it all began for me. I think it's wonderful to have the County Line Trail connect my hometown of Creston to my current town of Sterling, Ashland County, Medina County, Stark, and Summit counties that I've talked to on the trail that are using the County Line Trail. I'm really proud to be a member of the Rails to Trails of Wayne County Board. My primary responsibility is to be the liaison between the County Line Trail and the board, to take care of any maintenance, repairs, and mowing issues that arise, and to make sure it's in working shape for the residents to use. I do want to point out that this happens with a load of volunteers in the area that help us keep and maintain the trail. Your support is what makes the trails happen in Wayne County. Trail development takes a lot of time and a lot of funding. Time to develop the trails and have the engineer's plans drawn up and acquire the properties to be eventually put into trails. It also takes a lot of time to raise funds to actually do the paving of the trails. So my challenge to you is to donate. Donate to Rails to Trails of Wayne County. If you use this trail, if your family uses this trail, your kids, your grandkids, this is for the future of Wayne County. This is for the next generation to enjoy these parks. So again, I urge you to support Rails to Trails of Wayne County, and I thank you so much for that support.
Well, I've been part of the Rails to Trails board now for, I think it's about 4 years. And my interest was emerging out of the desire for two things. One of them is I love riding, and I prefer riding on trails. Keeps you out of the heavy traffic, makes it easier for riding with less distractions. Plus, trails tend to take you through parts of the countryside that you don't normally see. The other main reason for an interest in being part of the board is that I like the whole idea of seeing something get developed and started and built, and the idea that we're improving the quality of life and creating a legacy for our children and grandchildren into the future. Rails to Trails group are people who are so driven by a purpose of improving the quality of life in Wayne County and Ohio. And the work is driven by a passion to see the project started and completed.
Hi, I'm Jenny Reeser, and I serve on the Rails to Trails Board of Directors. And currently, I am still learning. I have been on the board for 6 years, and I still continue to be amazed at what it takes to build a rail trail. You can see behind me, I'm standing here on part of the Heartland Trail here in the heart of Orrville. We're excited about continuing this trail on up into Marshallville and beyond, and someday to hopefully go south and connect with Fredericksburg. I started my interest in rail trails when I was at the Chamber of Commerce. We were hosting meetings 2009, 2010, and learning about this trail that was coming to Orrville. In 2011, I decided I better buy a bike because this sounded really good. So I bought a bike and I started riding around town. The next couple of years, I explored some of the trails here in Wayne County, the County Line Trail, the Sippo Valley Trail, and went down to Fredericksburg and on into Holmes County. And I was hooked. So about that point, I was asked to serve on the board, and I took on the role of being a communications liaison. We started an electronic newsletter. We worked at getting articles in our local paper, Orrviews, and we started a Facebook page. And as we've done that, it's been exciting to see our following grow. And we are here today especially to thank the supporters and the people who understand the importance of building this legacy. This is a unique board. Every person at the table has a great passion for the project, and we're all doing the same thing, and that's to build this trail. We're persistent, and we're very patient, and we work with all of the various entities with diplomacy and care for what their interests may be as well. So I hope you'll join me in continuing to support trails and help us see the Heartland Trail to its completion.
Hello, my name is Keith Workman, and I've been interested in the idea of rail trails since I read about it in a magazine and joined the National RTC organization in 1988. I thought it would be great to have a trail in Wayne County. At our first meeting held in February 1995, we asked several attendees to be a nominating committee. The nominating committee called me later that week and asked if I would accept the nomination for president. I swallowed hard and accepted the nomination. We've made much progress in the 24 years since we began. My current role on the board is special projects. The area just north of Marshallville is known locally as the Rockies because the rail bed is cut down through a rocky hillside. It was a terrible mess of mud holes and drainage problems and heavy ATV use. The two problems I attacked were trying to stop ATV activity and solving the drainage issues. We solved the drainage by ditching both sides of the trail through the rocky cut area. Discouraging ATV use has been a slower process, but with persistence, we are making progress. Much of what I do now is mowing, spraying weeds, cleaning ditches, and repairing ATV damage. The other activity I'm involved in is fundraising bike rides. In 2013, I started organizing and leading multiple day rides on trails as a means of raising funds for RTWC. I do not expect to live long enough to see all of our opportunities built, so we need younger people to step forward and help continue the work. The other thing I want people to know is we are building trails for future generations. I want to leave a legacy for my grandchildren and their children to ride.
Hello, I'm Paul Vance, and I've only been on the board here for about a year so far, so I'm just learning and listening and watching the example of some really fine people who have put in so much hard work and dedication into the construction of Rails to Trails here in Wayne County. My interest in trails really began about 20 years ago as we were raising our family. My wife and I love to go biking with our children, but with little children, riding on the road obviously is something that no parent really feels comfortable with, so we began looking for bike trails as a family activity. But at that time, we had to drive an hour or so. We had to go to Richland County or Cuyahoga County to find a good trail. And then thankfully, Rails to Trails began working here in Wayne County. We got the Sippo Valley Trail, and we have a lot of family memories there. And now with the prospect of the Heartland Trail coming through, now I'm really excited because of the potential that it can mean for so many families in our area and in surrounding areas who will come to visit. My interest in serving on the board really began with my volunteer activities and my local government involvement as I began to see the need for good relationships and communication between all the entities that are involved in putting these trails together. I know the thing that gets me the most excited is the idea of finishing these trails here in Wayne County over the next several years. I know the benefit that that will bring to so many families because I saw the benefit that it brought to our family when we were traveling to ride on these trails. Now we have the opportunity to bring them right here through Wayne County, and I think it'll be a tremendous asset. And we all thank you for your support because it takes groups such as Wayne County Rails to Trails to make all of these tremendous things happen.
Hi, I'm Becky Jewell, and I'm a member of the Rails to Trails Board of Directors. My interest in trails began when the Sippo Trail was built over by Dalton. We would go over there and take a walk, and I had said, all these people are on their bicycles. Maybe we could dig those old bikes out of the garage and see what would happen. So we did that. We went on our first ride, and we became hooked. In 2009, I retired from the city of Orrville. Within the first year of that, the Rails to Trails purchased the right-of-way, the old CA&C right-of-way between Orrville and Clinton. They were looking for someone who would be boots on the ground to help them build the trail. So, of course, I couldn't say no to that because trails are really my love and my passion. So I accepted the position on the board as the Heartland Trail manager. In that position, I work with landowners, the lawyers, the engineers. They said there's 3 important things about building trails: drainage, drainage, and drainage. So there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, working with the engineering to make sure that everything works and that everything's being done according to all the local regulations and the federal regulations. And we certainly make sure that we get the drainage right so that when we ride this trail 5 years from now, it still looks as good as it did the day it opened. As part of my position, I also work with the Industrial Heartlands Trail Coalition, and I keep track of what's happening with the Rails to Trails Conservancy just so we know how our trails here fit in with the bigger picture. After I accepted this position, people said, they build trails not in years but in decades. And that certainly is true. But the one thing that I do know is that the trails that we're going to build now will be here for many generations in the future.
My name is Don Noble. I'm the president of Rails to Trails of Wayne County. Been involved with Rails to Trails for 20 years now. I've been on the board, first served as treasurer for a couple years, and then have been president since 2001, I believe. I volunteered a couple of work days, and lo and behold, they asked me to be on the board. So it's been a privilege for me, obviously, to be part of this for so long. When I see this trail coming together, the Heartland Trail, we're here in Marshallville. It's been a long time coming. Seeing this come to fruition is amazing. We've had this trail on our sites for a long time. It's going to be part of the Ohio to Erie Trail someday here in the near future, bringing people from Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati, going all up and down this trail. So finally seeing the pavement on the ground is what I get excited about, and the future possibilities for this trail and for people using it. What gets me passionate about trails is there's 3 things, I guess. Economic development is one. Bringing visitors to Wayne County and to these communities is a great thing to see. Community development, we're using these old trails as corridors for transportation. Health and fitness is another passion of mine, but also paying it forward. Quality of life is another passion of mine. when I see the national parks and state parks, you know, those things just didn't happen. And these trails don't just happen. And people think that laying the asphalt's the hard part. It's not. That's the easy part. It's everything that goes on behind the scenes for years to bring financial, community support to these trails. But it's paying it forward, and yeah, it's a legacy for future generations to enjoy this as I'm enjoying the trails that have developed. It's paying these forward for these trails for future generations, and that's what I get excited about. Because I don't think my lifetime I'll get to see all these trails develop in Wayne County. I hope so, but we'll see. But it's laying this groundwork for these future trail users and people to enjoy them.